Good morning from a snowy and cold upper Midwest tonight. I'm going to go ahead and show you the color that I'm choosing. So this is I think it's really pretty. I think it's going to be nice. And then I do have this like snowflake color to go over it maybe. I haven't decided yet, so I'll set that to the side. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started just so you can see real time how long it takes me to do my nails as I talk. But anyway, so I was saying it was cold and it was snowy, and it definitely is. It feels, according to the weather, it's going to feel as though it's negative 40 degrees at 4 in the morning tomorrow morning, so it's going to be really cold. All right, the kids are already off of school, and so I don't have to worry about that, but I feel as though if they weren't, it would have been a day off for sure. All right, and then I took the day off of work. So we're just kind of hanging and chilling out. Normally we go to church on Sundays, but this week we chose not to simply because the snow had started right when we were getting ready to leave. And I feel as though, in my mind, I felt as though if we went, then, who knows, we could have had a lot of snow on the road as we were driving. The freeway is fine usually, but I feel like people go way too fast. And so if the roads weren't treated, or if they do get out and treat the roads real fast, but if the roads weren't treated quite yet, or gosh forbid if somebody's going really fast, it just wasn't worth it. And so, yeah. All right. So what I'm showing you real quick is, excuse me, I take the nail wraps and then I kind of lay them out based on the size. And what you noticed, if you noticed, is I took, this is actually the middle finger one usually, and they go like this. That's how they come in the wrap, but actually that's how it fits my nails. I have to take and switch them. I have to take the nail wraps and switch them. So anyways, if you're wondering what I did or why I did it, that's why. So typically I will just move the nail wraps off to the side now. And just to show you real quick, I start by using, before I use that bonder, I actually use one of these alcohol prep pads, and I wipe down every single nail. And the reason for that is just to make sure that I get any excess oil off of the nail. And then I use this bonder that is going to help the nail wrap stick to the nail. And I just go over the nail. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just one of those things that I've found helps, and it helps last a little bit longer. I typically get anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. I see people comment all the time how they get up to, like, I got 3 weeks on my nail wraps. I have not found that to be the case. I also think for me, it's a case of I'm pretty hard on my nails, and so being pretty hard on my nails means that I don't always have a chance to make it the 3 weeks, and that's okay. That's okay. So, all right. Sorry, you are watching me literally try to figure out how to show you that I'm doing the nail without getting my finger in the way. Sorry about that. So again, real time. Anyways, I am almost done here now. I'm putting the bonder on. It does dry pretty quickly. And so while that's drying, I just go ahead and sit for just a few minutes, take a sip of coffee. Typically, if it's in the evening, sometimes I'll have some wine. Just kind of I think this time is just for me. We hardly get any time, I think, our own time, especially as parents. But even not as parents, life is really busy. But in general now, I find that I don't have a lot of me time. And since I gave up getting my nails done professionally, I have even less me time is how I feel. And I'll explain that in a bit. All right, so I use this top coat. It goes over. I just want to explain to you. I found this one to be the best. I have the clear version. This is clear, but I mean, I have the clear bottle version. I think it takes longer to dry. It does say instant as well, but this one here, I love this one. So this is the one that I use. In fact, a fun pro tip, they get about halfway down, and then it's hard to kind of like get your brush in, and then you're like tilting it all around to try to get it down in there so you can get the rest of the top coat. And then I just literally save the bottles and pour it in. And I remember thinking, I don't know, it kind of seems like a lot of work, even though I was just feeling lazy one night, I guess. And then I thought, heck no, I'm not going to let all that product go to waste. So that's what I do. I also use a big nail file. You can kind of see it here. You can get a pack of these, like 10 of them or something. I usually end up using one of them. They last me typically like 4 or 5 times. You probably get even longer. It's really what you feel when you're feeling as though it's time to move on to something else. There's no like right or wrong on when it's done. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you the other few tools here. I use this little bag guy here. It pushes down the edge of the nail wrap. I use this all the time. I also have this little wood piece. It's the same kind of process and idea. I use that guy, and then this here, this tool. Again, I'm not a professional, so I'm sure you could probably tell me all the names, but I use this once in a while, but not really at all. So he just kind of sits in over there off to the side. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. So one thing, I always go ahead and I'm gonna get started on my pinky first. Because it's cold, I tend to hold on to the wrap just for a little bit, especially in the winter, to try to provide it a little bit of warmth. 2 of the main companies that I have found that work really well, but again, I found that they do struggle a little bit in the winter. It's probably because of my house temperature too, but I do buy Lily and Fox, and they have a really great deal. They're like $2.99 per set. You cannot, I don't think you can beat that, in my opinion. The quality is good. Again, I typically say I get between a week and 2 weeks. More likely, if I'm being honest, it's a week, because I will change. I'll change them because I'm like, $2.99, you can't go wrong. And then it gives me a chance to say, like, I need a little bit of, me time. And so I literally will make sure then that I feel like I don't feel guilty getting them because they're only $2.99. And then I feel like I can get the time that I need for myself to feel as though I am still having, the me time that I want. And then I end up just getting like a bunch of different colors and stuff, designs and things. I also have bought from Color Street. Again, no complaints. I love them as well. They're a little bit more expensive. I would say that they actually, they smell like nail polish. They actually have nail polish on them. But I do love them as well. But lately I've been all about Lily and Fox. And this set here is from Lily and Fox. So, yeah. So anyways, all right. So there we go. There's one. I go ahead and get it on, bring it down. And I will go ahead and show maybe another video exactly how I do it, maybe step by step. Right now I'm just trying to kind of show you the time it takes and then have a little fun talking and whatnot. So, all right. Okay, so so the reason why I started doing this is because I was really interested in saving money for the family. Prior to meeting my husband, I was getting my nails done pretty regularly. There was nothing else that I really found that I would spend my money on. I would go out, just normal, young, in my 20s. And then I met him, and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to make sure that I was saving money, right? And I wanted to do things like buy a house and all of those things that cost, money to do. And so one of the things that we looked at was the budget. And so that's kind of today's topic, is how can we save money in our budget? I don't have the magic answers. I know one of the areas for me was getting cutting out like the nail salon. All right, so typically I would go get my nails done, and when I would go get my nails done, I'm gonna be honest with you, they started doing these really cute designs, and I was like, oh man, that's so cute, I love that. And then I would get the designs and pay for the designs, and it's only like however much a nail, and it was great. I thought it was great, and by the time I was done, it was fine because it was just me. But then in the relationship and wanting to, know that I wanted to have a house and I wanted to set up for the future, I felt as though this money, I'm just kind of wasting time here. This money is not going to be able to, go anywhere with me in the future. Like, I'm going to have to start to really buckle down financially. And then that still didn't sink in for me. I don't know what it was. It's like it did. I knew I needed to save the money, but I still was like, oh, I want my nails done. I feel like I hate painting them and waiting for them to dry. I hate it. And even if you do, there's the first one, done. Even if you do, somebody said, why don't you do the same nail polish that you just did that will dry instant, right? I still hate being perfect and trying to get all the lines. I do feel like I have a touch of OCD, and I need it to be like perfect. So as perfect as possible, right? Because even these nail wraps aren't perfect, which I always find funny. I give myself grace on the nail wraps, but not painting. So anyways, and here's a good tip here. Look, if you make a mistake, you can gently kind of pull it back. I learned that after a while. You might have learned that the very first day. Not sure. But it's a cool trick. And then, yeah, definitely share if you have any other tricks, anything you've learned. But, so there's 2, just like that. We are at 12 minutes. So again, we're saving time. We're not driving. We're not going out. We're not making appointments. We're not spending. I used to spend, it was $100+ easily, because then I would get the gel nail polish, and then I would get the designs. And I know you can say, oh, you didn't have to do all that. I didn't, but it was so fun. It was great. And I felt like I was going and having like a moment, like an experience. And that can sound completely ridiculous to you, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. That's how I felt. It was one of those things that brought me joy. So how can I achieve that and do that without spending all the money, right? Okay, so some things that I've started to save the money on is I've started to use the money we're in a place now where I can use it for vacations. Early on, it was used for the extra costs, like when rent would go up, things like that. Now, like I said, I can save that money and use it for us to go on vacation. It's absolutely crazy, I think, for me to spend that much money per paycheck when I can do this for $2.99. Do they look the same as when I go to a place? No. Maybe not. Probably not. Do they look great for being $2.99 and spending just this much time? Sure, I think so. For sure, it's up to you. With your thoughts only, you can kind of make that judgment, but I definitely think so. So again, I have 2 down. This one is already dry, ready to go. That's what I love about this brand. Can't say enough about Sally Hansen for this brand. I think it's great. So we're on to the third. We're at 14 minutes, about 3 minutes per nail. So anyways, yeah. So budgets are a tricky thing. Now I feel like with everything up in price, it's hard, right? And even if you can be starting out. I remember when I was starting out with just outside of high school, all the way up until, I graduated and had a job. And even then I feel like everybody probably knows exactly what I'm talking about. Even then I felt like budgets were needed. I don't think, even if I came across this obscene amount of money, see how I pulled that more? You just gotta be careful not to pull too hard and rip it. Even if I came across this like obscene, crazy amount of money, I am still going to have a budget. I live by a budget, and I'm trying really hard to teach my child that budgets are important. They're kind of like a guide. Not kind of, I shouldn't even say that. They're definitely like a guide, but I'm trying to explain that to my child, that they are kind of like a roadmap, right? Just like you don't go somewhere without directions or knowing where you're going. That's kind of what your budget's like. You got to take time setting it up. You have to know exactly what your goal is. You have to know the end goal. You have to know the process along the way, like what you want to achieve, and then your budget's that roadmap that's going to help you achieve it. And I used to hate talking about a budget. I used to hate it. And then I realized that once I kind of took power back and control and thought to myself, I'm not going to be afraid of talking about it. It's going to go. I kind of get excited now if I can save some money, to be honest with you. It's kind of like a thrill. Sorry, I had to get a sip of coffee. It's kind of like a thrill if I get a good deal on something. All right, so this nail is a little bit tricky. This nail kind of snapped off this week. They're not long anyways, but I was doing something and snagged it, and I hate that. So I cut it down as far as I could go. And of course, when it snapped off, I was not in a place where I could cut it down or use a file system, so I had to use my good old trusty, finger system or my, kind of rip it, sort of. And I know I should carry something with me. I can just hear everybody. You should really need to carry, a little pouch. I used to carry something with me that would have, tools. And then, I don't know, I think it probably just came out one of the times that I cleaned my purse. I found, and I'm sure you can relate, since I had my child, that everything is inside my purse. Random snacks, random Legos, random toys. It's better now that he's a little bit older, but now it's random fidgets, random books, random, I don't know, it's definitely my problem because I have such a big purse. I can't, honestly, yeah, I do need to keep working with him on that. When we go somewhere, we are not bringing the world. He doesn't try to bring a lot of stuff. I think it just, between me saying, oh, would you like a book for the car ride? And, oh, let's grab a snack so we don't have to stop at the store and buy something. And then we get home, and if he didn't eat the snack, then I am really bad about going in and being like, oh, I need to take that snack out. So I'll find random bags of goldfish or random bags of things, or oh, this book is still in here. Why is this in here? So anyways, I think I lost my nail tools at some point. Took them out. It was just a little nail file and clippers. It wasn't anything extensive, but I need to get back to it. So regardless, here I am with this nail. Ripped it off a little bit too far. I don't know if you can kind of see here. Went too far deep. And then, of course, my skin is dry. It's raw. I already need to get better lotion. So here I am. So again, doing the best I can with this nail. So I went ahead and got the wrap as close to the skin and the edge as I could. I used the nail file, went around. It is tender, but did the best that I could. This one will stick. I'll update you if it doesn't, but there's nothing telling me right now, just based on when I put it on, that it's not going to stick. I feel like I've been doing them long enough to know now if they're going to make it or not. typically I'll look, and if there's like bubbles on the top, especially like up through here, if I see little bubbles or anything, then I know it didn't seal. So, all right, so I have 3 down. That one took a little bit longer, so we are at 20 minutes. All right, so let's get to the next one. So anyways, one way that I do save on the budget, and as a kid, I used to hear my dad, I could just hear him talk about it, and my mom, don't touch that thermostat, right? I completely understand. Now I feel like I have to contend with that. This one's a little tricky. I feel like it didn't have a top piece. I can see it's like a little weird, but all right. So now I have to contend with that, but now it's also like making sure that, look, I smudged. Making sure that we understand that we really don't need to crank it up. That idea of like putting on the sweatshirt, making sure that we're wearing layers, right? I feel like when I say that stuff, I do feel like I'm 80 years old. Actually, the air duct guy came a couple weeks ago. He was so funny. He came and he did it. If you haven't had your vents cleaned, you need to go do it. It was crazy. He said there was stuff in there. The house that we have is new. It's so it had like new construction stuff. We haven't done it since we moved in. This one I actually placed a little too close here to the edge, so I have to like pull it back if you see the skin just a little bit, just to try to create that seal. So anyways, we had the air ducts completed, or the air vents I should say, and I asked if they could do the dryer vent, but I guess our dryer vent is on the roof, which I thought was interesting. Excuse me, sorry, I pulled out the chair so I can get a better angle. So anyways, he was doing that. Really great guy. If anybody wants his information, if you're in my area, let me know. Really nice guy. So I think that's gonna stay. But so anyways, he did really great. It was really great, and definitely needed to be done. But with that said, when he was done, I walked by and I see the temperatures up to like 72. And you are probably sitting there thinking, 72, that's normal. What is she talking about? And I almost died, right? So I'm like, I go up to him and I said, hi, I just wanted to see if you needed the, when you're done, if we need the temp at 72, or just let me know when you're done so I can bring it back down. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I turned it to the temperature that most people keep their house at, usually 68 to 70 or 72. And, oh, you guys, look, I keep smudging this one. Look, you're going to get real life. You're going to be able to see what it looks like. All right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to get a real life example here when we're done. So anyways, I said, oh no, I'm so sorry, we don't, do I need to keep it up that high? That's all I was asking. We keep it really low. So, and then he asked me how low I keep it. And then I told him, and he said, oh my gosh, excuse me. And he was laughing and laughing. And he said, what do you guys do? Like, what do you guys, like, okay, you guys go on like with your bad selves. And I kind of cracked up. So it made me question, and I'm not going to change. We're fine. Like, our family's taken care of. We're happy. I feel like we're saving a little bit of money, but more so than anything, it's just it gets too warm. So during the day, so tell me, what do you guys keep your temp at? So during the day here, we keep our temp set to 65, which again, I thought in my mind, I'm like, that's fine. We have sweatshirts on. I mean, on really cold days, if we need to, I feel like we could bring it up, but we don't. We haven't needed to. Once in a while, I feel like we bring it up to like 67, 68, but usually when I start cooking and like turn the stove on and stuff, it will the temperature will go up naturally, and so we'll end the day warmer. But yeah, so I'll set the temperature to 65 or so. And then at night, I bring it down to like 63, 62. Once in a while, I'll even maybe like 61. So 61, 62. And we have like blankets. We love it. And that's not even to save money, honestly. That's just for better sleep. I wake up sweaty and then I'm not happy. Like, it doesn't feel good. So we keep the temperature down. Now, I have talked to people here in the area of where we live who keep their thermostat, same kind of thing. They keep it down. They feel like they can sleep better at night. I also have read or seen people like in on social media or whatever that are like, I keep mine at 75 degrees. I think I would get sick if it was that hot. There's something about hot air kind of blowing in. I don't know. I like the temperature blowing, or like to feel warmer, but I don't like that to feel the hot air, if that makes sense. So a lot of times I like I'll turn the fireplace on or something like that. So anyways, okay, so this happens quite a bit. So I go to pull it, and look, it's gonna pull the back. So what I found is I just very gently pull here, and people have asked me if I have a tool or anything. I don't need a tool. I can just literally go like this, and then it's fine. So anyways, okay, so I have those things. Let's see here. Just making sure you can see the thumb. The thumb is the trickiest for me to make sure you can see. That is a really good seal. Did you see that? That is like almost perfect right there. I also have these ridges on my thumb. I know I at least read online that it can be like stress ridges. There's definitely just life stress, nothing crazy, but they come and they go. But anyways, I had my like blood draw. Everything's fine, like health-wise. So I just tell myself it's fine. So anyways, sometimes it can create a harder seal, if you can see them right here. But that's okay. And you can kind of see, I don't like how that bump looks, but I'll show you how I kind of make it the best that I can. And again, we're using like your natural nail. When I used to get like fake nails put on, everything looked perfect, right? Well, not necessarily, because what happens is with artificial nails, first of all, you're damaging your nail bed. Again, I didn't care. I think I definitely care more now, the older that I get, and just knowing the space that I'm in. The thing is when you have to nurse your nail beds back to health after you're done with that stage in your life, that's no fun, right? Your nails are super bendy. They can take a long time. I actually know somebody right now who's in the process of doing that. It can be painful depending on the nail person that you have. My nail person was always great, and they would like soak them off. I love my nail person. He was amazing. And then we moved from my previous place, where we lived, a different state, so I couldn't keep seeing him. But yeah, some nail people tend to want to just soak them a little bit and then like use their tools and like rip them off. I've seen friends who have told me that they weren't given an option. You just have to, if that's where you're at and you're like, I want to try these nail wraps, or I kind of want to save some money and go with this natural approach, you just have to be able to tell them, I'm not okay doing that. Please do not rip it off, because they will take some of your natural like nail and affect your nail bed. It's just going to happen. It's natural. They're not going to mean to do it, but it's just going to happen. So what I have found with my thumbnails here is that I have to kind of go around like this. And again, I think it kind of helps with this ridge a little bit. For sure makes me feel better about them. It's not that I'm necessarily filing them down. I do have one of those electric like nail files that I could use, but I don't. I just kind of make sure that the seal is real good, since the seal can kind of become loose around the stress ridges. The last thing I want is for the seal to come loose, because then the nail wrap will only last a few days. So, all right. So anyways, let's talk. The next thing I wanted to ask you about, or to talk to you about, is if we're talking about budgets and just saving money in general, or maybe you're coming from a place where you haven't gotten your nails done professionally, but you want to start getting them done, and this seems like a much better route for you. So let's just talk about if you're looking at, with summer's not coming up, but I feel like after the holidays, I start thinking about summer plans already. Isn't that crazy? Please let me know if that's nuts. I feel like, on a side note, I start thinking about the holidays as soon as like September hits. And then as soon as January comes and January's done, I try really hard to live in the moment, you guys. And then I start thinking about the summer. I love living in the moment. Like, it's beautiful outside right now. It's gorgeous. I love feeling cuddly. It's snowing. I'm going to read a book later, make soup, all sorts of fun things. But I love starting to think about, what we're going to do in the summer. Are we going to go, if we're going to go out of town, but we want to stick on a budget? Are we going to go do some day trips? I'm the queen of day trips. I'm going to definitely do some videos on that later on for sure. But all right. So anyways, just to get back before we talk about what are some things that, you like to do when you start thinking about summer plans. Here's the first hand. And again, we are at 31 minutes. We have taken a longer time. I think if you come back next week, you will notice, and then I will show you what they look like next week. You will notice a shortened time. I am taking a longer time because I also want to show you like every step. So some of these will just be where I just kind of go through the motions. And then, like I said, I will have some videos where I show the exact step-by-step process. But I do spend a little time, like I'm doing right now, going through, and if I see any little marks, I do try to spend the time and go through and add a little extra. So yeah, anyways, right here, this little spot, pay attention to this for next week. You'll notice right here, this little spot here is a little poofy. So we're going to have to pay attention to see what happens. To see, excuse me, if in a week, if it's poofed up or not, or if they've made it to next Sunday. I'm going to show you the good, the bad, the ugly each week. All right, so let's go ahead and do the right side and then see where we're at. So, all right, so this is the left side. Just give it just a few seconds with the extra part that I just put on. But again, I think they're really pretty if you get close. I think they look pretty. Again, I do need lotion if you look all this dry spot here. But again, I think they look good. For sure, $2.99, you cannot go wrong. I can't say enough things about how I love this company. They do send you like a book. A book. I should have said booklet. It's kind of like it's almost like a big binder. Next time I do an order, I'll show you. And in the binder, you'll be able to see, they'll have, 1 second, please. Okay, sorry about that. I had to answer my kid's question. So anyways, I can see in the booklet will come, they'll usually give you like a little customized or personalized note, and then they will give you, they used to give like an origami fox. They do sometimes. It's really cute. Actually, I've saved them and actually put them on at work. Let me just turn this a little bit. I've saved them and then put them, actually, one of them up at work. Left hand or right hand is harder, as you can see, and that is simply because my dominant hand is my right hand, so doing right hand is trickier. So this is going to be a real example of how somebody might struggle doing the right hand compared to the left hand, or in the other, flip that around, the left hand versus the right hand. But I did hear a trick that you should do your non-dominant hand first. You have more patience then. I tend to just do the dominant hand first so I can see like how cute I think the set looks, and then I've just gotten real good at having patience for the non-dominant hand. So anyways, so yeah, they send you then like a little customized note, and then sometimes you'll get either like depending on the size of your order, you'll either get one of these little guys here, and then like a mini nail file. It's a mini one, not this one. And then sometimes you won't. You can buy them on their company website as well if you want. I also just buy mine at my local store. It just depends on what you choose to do. So, all right. So anyways, here we are. We're almost done with this one already. So when you think about summer plans, some of the fun things, or budgets, I should say, when I think about summer and the things that I want to do, I think that's the number one thing that I really start focusing on and why I start thinking about it so soon is how I can make it meaningful. How I can make it, meaningful for my family, but then how I can also make it meaningful for myself, as just to make sure that it's a good year. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let's look. All right, let's put this on. Sorry about that. It's probably lots of noise. All right, almost done with this first one. So I've made doing my nails like a Sunday night routine, and here I am, of course, doing it in the morning with you for this first time. But I've made it about like a Sunday night routine, and that's simply because for me it works out. There we go. Sorry about that. It works out so I can get everything done, and then at the end of the day, the end of the weekend, I should say, then I can, see what I have left to do, and then really spend time with, my loved ones, and just kind of have that end of that weekend in those moments. And so that's why I choose to do mine on Sunday night. You can obviously do your nails whenever you want. You might not even go to work Monday morning. You might go to work a completely different day, and that's, or not, maybe you have something else, and you have a different type of situation, or you're not yet working. It's completely up to however you want to do it. Maybe you stay at home and, you work from home, or you work like as a stay-at-home parent. I really feel like stay-at-home parents are working. I always think if you tallied up every amount of, like my mom stayed at home with us, and if you tallied up everything she did, it would have been so much time and stuff, so much time and energy. So I go to work, and then I come home, and I want to make sure that I have dinner ready and clothes laid out for the next day, baths done, everything done in the evening. And so I really want to just make sure that I'm spending as little time as possible on things that will take away from that. And so going and out and getting my nails done was taking away from that. I still go out and get my hair done. I don't think I will change that. I do just get the roots done though. So like once in a great while, I've been getting the whole thing covered. I just did 2 times ago. And then every so often I'll go get the roots done. I'm thinking about starting to just go natural. I just haven't quite made the decision yet. But I'm starting to get tired of going to get my nails done as well, or my hair. So anyways, yeah. All right, so when I think about summer, I think about all the things I want to do, like gardening, being outside, like I said, going on day trips, spending time, going to festivals, spending time with my family. And I remember thinking when I first started nail wraps, oh, I'm not going to be able to. They're going to come off. I spend a lot of time outside grilling, or I spend a lot of time like gardening. They're going to come right off, and that's not the case. And they don't. They really stick as long as you get that good seal that I told you about. So they really stick. So again, every dollar and penny that I can save now is more than in the summer. So I just want to show you what's going on with this nail. I have this little gap here, and again, it'll be fine, completely fine. Yeah, so let me get the next one. One of my favorite things to do is go to a good farmer's market. If you haven't gone to a farmer's market or a good farmer's market, you're definitely missing out in life. I'll say that. I will stick to that. I'll own that. A good farmer's market is, for me, it was life-changing. It really was. I think being able to go and get the fresh fruits and vegetables, and then they even have like the meat and cheese and different things, and I think that was really powerful and important for me, for my family. But then in addition to that, just the connection with like the people who are growing the products and selling them. Where I live in the upper Midwest, there's a lot of farms, and there's a lot of, like family farms and families selling things and making fresh things. And so for me to be able to help support them and make connections with the community and other community members that I really might not otherwise have a connection with is really fun. And there's nothing, I don't think there's anything like going in the summer and just having the nice temperatures and everybody's just smiling, and yeah, I don't know, I love it. The other thing about Midwestern summers is there's a festival everywhere. We did live out west for a very long time, and they also had festivals, but their festivals were, there's nothing quite like a Midwestern festival. I don't know how to explain it. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like maybe it's just because they happen during the summer. I suppose an East Coast festival might be the same way when the weather's nice. I found out in the West, felt like you could have a festival almost any time. They even had them like in the summer. I felt like maybe not the dead of summer when it was so hot, but they could have festivals in the winter. I should say I was in the Southwest. So they were having festivals, like February, March, or or their festival season, I would, like November, October, November, start seeing the signs. And here, it starts springtime. And there's festivals like even now in the winter, but nothing like a daytime outside festival. Yeah, so if you're from like the East Coast or the Northeast, I'm sure it's the same kind of feeling. Getting outside and spending time outside when you only have so much time is just, makes you appreciate it. It's probably why a lot of people move to where there's no snow. I spent a very long time living away from the snow, that when I finally came back a few years ago, I promised myself that I would not get sick of the snow. And so far I haven't. It's only been a couple years, and I know that these winters haven't really been much, especially compared to when I was a kid. I feel really old saying that. Like, I could probably say, like, when I was a kid, I walked uphill, 2 miles each way, there and back. But it's kind of how it feels. I said that one time, and somebody, actually an adult, asked me, like, that's not possible. I was like, no, it's not. It's not possible. So anyways, okay, so here we are, 46 minutes. We are down to the last few here, and I will have a completed set. I think the real fun will be to show you next week what they look like in 1 week's time. I don't know why some of these don't have the sticker on them. What I don't want is if they don't have the sticker, and then if they have the sticker on and then I miss it. That'd be really bad. Or just have a gloss. Anyways, yeah. All right, so one of the things I've really started liking lately, oh, look. See that gap? That drives me crazy. So I'm going to try to reapply and then hope it sticks. I've learned enough, though, over practicing that I can do this, but I only get like one attempt, and then look, I have that gap there. So I really need to try to stretch it, and there's going to be a gap in this one. Again, it's my non-dominant hand. It's going to be, yeah, that doesn't look bad, but let me show you after it's done. I'll show you what it looks like. But I really have started liking going on cruises. I am someone who always viewed cruising as, like I have this little piece here. Cruising is like what like older people do. Super ignorant of me. But I feel like they kind of, I don't know, I feel like it was sort of advertised that way for a long time. Maybe not. Maybe it's just me. Could just be me. But listen, you're missing out if you haven't gone on one. Unless of course you get sick or you can't go. But a lot of people are like, why would I go on a cruise? It just seems so boring. You're on this one ship the whole time. Like, what? And I get it. There's so much to do, and I feel like it was a thoughtless vacation. Does that make sense? Sometimes with work and life and the bills and budgets and figuring everything out, a thoughtless vacation to me sounded wonderful. I love going on places. This one's extra sticky. I love going to places where, like, you plan things. I love that. I love that when I was a little younger. So right now I am in my 40s, and I should say in my mid-40s. So I didn't just turn 40, but I'm also not close to 50. So I feel as though, just to give you a age reference, very much have a child at home who is in school. He is not in college. He's not graduated. He's very much in the school system, and still has many years left. And so just the thoughtless vacation to me sounded wonderful. And I don't know if that doesn't sound appealing to you, I understand. But so the first one we went on, we went without our son. He stayed, he got to go spend time with his relatives, like his family, his cousins, I should say. And he had like a blast, and I felt so guilty. So I'm going to definitely do like a session or a nail session on trying to spend some time without feeling guilty, trying to spend some time away from your kids without feeling guilty. If you're like me and automatically feel like you should feel guilty. I felt so guilty at first. I ended up having an amazing time, and I think it was great for him to have a little bit of independence, and then it was also great for my relationship, and then great for me personally to be able to just everything around, just to be able to have a little bit of time, right? It was so fun. So anyways, here's that nail. So if if you get up close and you look, it looks good. Looks good. There's that little bit of gap there, but it's fine. Looks good. So anyways, here's the big one now. I've got the big guy here. Thumbs give me the hardest time. I don't know why. They just do. But so anyways, it's just thoughtless. Like every day you wake up at this new port. Some days you're cruising on the ocean, which I actually love those days, I think, more than the port. Oh, that's beautiful. Look, that's perfect. It's going to be perfect. That's really lined up. There's shows, there's dinner, the food's included, the drinks are included, especially if you go through NCL, which is our cruise line that we go through. I do have a cruise guy if you are ever interested. There's so many events that are offered. There's so many things to do. You can spend a day just reading your book and getting lost and just relaxing. You could spend the day chilling, by the pool. You could spend the day going to the spa. It just felt it was so fun. It really was fun. It really was. It just felt a step out of the mundane, everyday life. And because it was, and when I say thoughtless, what I mean by that is I didn't have to plan on, all right, what time do we need to leave the hotel to get to our next activity? Or I didn't need to plan on, all right, where do we want to stop? Because I love road trips. What hotel do we want to stop at? What exit do we need to get off on? Who needs to do what? Where are we going? What activity are we going to do? That's what I mean by thoughtless. Like it just felt easy and carefree. My favorite activity was sitting, I did get a balcony, sitting out on the balcony every night and just reading and listening to the waves. That was my favorite activity. And some people, I've seen videos post how some people are comment about like how quiet it gets and how dark it gets. I mean, not quiet, I meant dark, and how scary that can be. I actually found it super calming and refreshing. Like there was nothing else to worry about. It was just dark. I could see the stars. The stars are beautiful. The ship lights are on. You can hear the people laughing and having so much fun. And I just got lost in my books. And that was after dinner, after, I had a few drinks, and just, I don't know, it was just so relaxing. I didn't have to think about meal prep, what to get out for work, what to get out for school. It was just fun. It just gave me a break from everyday life. And of course, I was so excited to go see my kid after, the cruise. The second cruise we did together as a family. And that was also very fun. He had a blast. That cruise was so fun because I got to see it through his eyes. I did find that I was more aware and paying attention to how he was doing, making sure he was having fun, just like we do as parents. Where the first cruise I kind of felt like I was able to do it just kind of be just me and be myself and be myself in a relationship and just kind of be a couple, right? It was sort of like our honeymoon, just several years later than when we actually got married. So, all right, so if I go ahead and move these items, and I always use this hard surface because it's really easy to wipe, nothing ever gets stuck. I will not use nail polish remover on this surface, but I always do use this. I've tried putting things down, you can do that as well. You put a towel down before. It's just really up to you. I tend to just want to use the surface. I feel like it's better to use this than a different options that I've tried. It also doesn't, like I said, it doesn't stain. I feel like I can just wipe it down, sanitize it, and I'm good to go. So here's the finished product. I have these nails here, these blue nails. I was thinking of putting the snowflakes over. I'm not going to do that at this time. I'm just going to leave these as they are. I kind of like them, the simplicity. A lot of times I use different patterns and images, which you'll see as the weeks go on. And I think that this week it's just kind of nice to use, just kind of have the plain. Now I do use a lot of nails with glitter, but if you check out the website that I had mentioned, if you check out Lillian Fox, they do have a website, like a shopping link. They have different options. They have patterns, they have glitter, they have non-glitter, they have French tips, they have all sorts of options for you to choose from that would fit what you like. They have things versus the seasons. I usually do that. So yeah, but if you get a pair, you can definitely go through the steps with me, step by step. We could do nails together where you're able to do them with me and then kind of see the process. I'm going to keep working on my camera to make sure that I'm going to set one up so then I maybe try a different angle. So then that way it doesn't get in the way. But yeah, so these are the nails for the week. You can see here, I can touch them. There's no smudging. This one will obviously need a little bit of time, but if I touch everything else, there's no smudging. It's all dry. It's good. I cannot say enough about it. So if you're watching this and you're like, I just want to be somebody who saves some money as well and have nice nails, I'll go ahead and show you the product again that I used real quick. So I do use this bonder. I think you can get this at pretty much any store. I've bought it online. I've also bought it in stores, like any store you buy your shampoo, your conditioner, things like that. And then this drying, instant dry. I do think this pink reddish bottle is the way to go. This company sells other Insta-Dries as well. They have a white bottle. I think that's great too. I think for some reason, maybe it's my nails. It could be my nails. This particular color bottle dries and there's no smudges on my hands. It instantly dries. And then I do use this alcohol pad to wipe off any oils as well to create that bond. I think any nail file will work. I tend to get the big ones. And then you'll want this rubber pusher. I'm sure it has a very formal name, I'm sure. But I'm not sure what that is. And all I know is that it's just going to it's probably to push the cuticles back, to be honest with you. But I use it to push the nail wraps down on the edges and then creates that bond, that seal. And then the only other thing that I can think, if you want to get something to start next week with me, would be nail polish remover. I'll show you how to take off the nails as well. There's two ways. You can either get a bottle of nail polish with acetone in it. I have not been able to successfully get these off without acetone. It just takes forever, I should say. So there's either the method where you'll need acetone or 1 second. Let me show you. Let me just get 1 second. This brand right here. This brand of nail polish remover pads works really well for both of the brands that we talked about today. So any nail wrap, really, this works. And again, I feel like this is more of a non-budget friendly option. It's just a little more expensive than a bottle of nail polish remover and either cotton rounds, or I use cotton balls sometimes. But again, I love this stuff. And so sometimes, again, I'm like, if I'm not going to the nail salon and I'm not spending all that money and I'm, sometimes I just want to splurge a little. I think a box comes, it says 50. I got a 50 pack. I believe I bought these on Amazon. So I got a 50 pack and I feel like it lasts me for sure. I'm going to say like 3 months. For sure. I use sometimes with the real good glittery sets that I really do love glitter. You'll see. But sometimes with those glittery sets, the glitter sticks on, and so I have to use more than one pad, like per hand. So anyways, I'm excited to take this journey with you as I tackle topics each week that are things that are on my brain that I want to talk about. We'll talk about some fun things. We'll talk about some things that I think are at the center of my brain in terms of being a mom and as well as just being a human. Just anything ranging in my mind right now. I'm thinking about, for instance, right now, like meal prep. Today I haven't done anything yet. I chose to do my nails and I get it. It's great. That is done for the week. That's checked off. So now I have to go right into meal prepping. I think I'll have a cup of coffee first. But things like that. Maybe if you have some ideas of meal prepping that you could share with me, I'd be grateful. I do make sourdough bread, so we can definitely talk bread. We can talk about a variety of topics that enter our brains as adults throughout the course of the day. It should be really fun. So I'm excited to see you back next week where we'll take off the nail polish. I will show you how they lasted for the week. I am pretty rough on my nails. There's no doubt about that. I'll tell you what I did during the week just so you can get an idea to see how they lasted, I should say. And then we'll put on a new set. So I look forward to it. If you have your set in time, great. If not, please join us either way. If you place an order and they don't come in time for Sunday or for next weekend, I typically do these on Sunday. It's okay. You can go to a store and they do sell nail wraps as well. They do have other options. You can also purchase them online, I think, and they can come a little bit quicker than Lily and Fox, but Lily and Fox does also have some quick options for postage. So for shipping, I should say. So, all right, have a great weekend, the rest of your weekend. Take some time for yourself. Make sure that you're rested with that time and refreshed so you can give everything that you have to those that you love and to the people around you. All right, have a good week. Bye.